right, welcome everybody. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to true a wheel. You've got that wheel that's got a nice little wobble on it in one area. Well, basically what you want to do is find the area, what we call the high side here, that you'll put a something against the wheel. Now they sell expensive truing stands. You don't need a truing stand. If you got a bike, use your forks. Use the ass end of the bike. Put it on here. Now I removed the tire. That way we can see a little bit closer here. As well, if you can, you're better off to go ahead and remove the tire. Remove the, that way you don't have the pressure of your inner tube against the rim strip while you're turning the spoke nipples. And that way it's not going to take a chunk out of the rim strip, which could lead to a flat later on, okay? So, like I said, you don't need an expensive truing stand and an indicator. I'm using a carpenter's pencil. I've used a screwdriver, the handle of a screwdriver, and held it against the front forks, or I've held it against the chainstay here along the frame, the lower part of the frame, and just put it against the rim and spin it. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to put this tool against the side of the rim. We're going to spin it, and then where it pushes out on that one side, that's where you need to make the adjustment. So if it's pushing out here on this side here where I've got the pencil, we need to come over on the spokes here on the opposite side and tighten them up. Typically I've found that all I need to do is tighten up 3 spokes. That's what's typically going to go ahead and rectify the situation here. You've got one, let's say that if between 1, 2, the 3 spokes on this side here, well, the center spoke on that side, that's the one you need to tighten up a little bit more, and then just tighten just a little bit here on the first one and then the one following it, and that'll pull it in line. So one little trick you can do as well that you want to make sure that your spokes are set in, particularly with a newer bike. If you're taking the time to go ahead and remove the tire, take the tube off, let's see to it that the spokes are set in. And that's pretty simple. I'm going to do it on this stump here. All I'm doing is just pushing down on the rim, not super hard. Turn it just a little bit. Do it there, turn it, push it down again, push it down again. What that does, that makes sure that the spokes are pretty well set into the rim and we're good to go. So let's go ahead and put this on the bike. Then we're going to use our high dollar indicator. Okay, so what you do is you take your straight edge, you take your tool, your pointer, your indicator, as we're going to call it here. In this case, it's the carpenter's pencil. And I push it against the rim and I slowly rotate it. And where it's pushed out, okay, let's say it's bowed out right here, it's going to push the tool out a little bit here. So we push it, it'll push the tool here, and you're just going to hold it. And then where it's no longer bowed out, you'll get a gap. So I'm exaggerating. So here we got a gap, and then as you turn it where it needs adjusting, it'll close the gap and it might even rub. And then as you go a little bit further, the gap will increase. So at the area where it's rubbing, that's where you need to make your adjustment. Now you want to make the adjustment on the correct side, and typically it's where you see the least amount of distortion on the side. So if the majority of one side seems like it's pulled over, well, look on the other side and you may see that just in one small area where it's going to push against your tool, and then the rest of the area you'll have the gap. Okay, so we've got the wheel on. We're going to give it a spin, right? So all you really got to do is you got to take your tool, quote unquote. I'm using the carpenter's pencil here. And we're going to put it against the wheel. Okay, against the edge of the rim here. And let's spin it around. And I can feel it pushing the pencil away. Okay, now I've got a gap. It's not rubbing against it. Got a gap all the way around, and it starts to rub again here. Now, right here is the valve stem, the opening for the valve stem. So, right about there, to maybe just a little bit after the valve stem, is where we need to tighten up. So what we're going to do here is, in this one spot, the wheel is pushed this way here. So what we need to do, we need to come over here and tighten it up, and that's going to draw the wheel that way. Now you can buy a nice handy dandy little adjuster that fits the spokes, or if you got you a multitasker here, this works fine. You just got to get it snug against the nipple. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to work in threes here. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, and 3. And so what we're going to do, we're going to tighten it up. And the spoke that's in the middle is the one that I'm going to be tightening up the most. So what you got to remember is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So we're tightening up the nipple, so the nipple is screwed in from inside the rim. So imagine you're turning it clockwise when you're looking at it from the top going through the rim. So let's see what we got here. Well, I'm just going to push it against the wheel. And I've still got just a little bit of rub. I've got most of it out. Let's go ahead and tighten it up just a little bit more. And I just wiggle the wrench back and forth and tighten it up till I get it good and snug. And then we got it. And I bet we got this bad boy. I've got it pressed against the rim. It's rubbing. And that is a true rim. Okay, so now you're good to go here. You're not going to have that wobble. Hey, for a pedal bike, you get a little wobble. That's not a problem so much. But you're wanting to go 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, whatever. You get a bit of wobble in it. Hey, it's not fun. So I hope I helped you out. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. Click subscribe. I want to thank you for watching.